What do you think the average savings account pays you right now? Just think about that for a second. It pays 0.51%. That's it, 0.51%. Today, I'm going to give you my top 5 savings accounts, and all of them pay a minimum of 5%. That is 10 times more than the national average. Let's go ahead and break it down. So what I've done is done a bit of research to pull together this list, but I want you to know this first before we get into this list. I made it a point to make sure that this list was attainable because I used to work at a bank where if you didn't have $250,000 cash, you couldn't come talk to me. You cannot come talk to your boy, one of the best financial advisors in the country, unless you had $250,000 in cash, which, you know, made me feel special, right? But it wasn't accessible, right? It didn't help the people who needed the help the most. So there may be some accounts out there that pay even more than this, but it's not going to help you, right? If a lot of us don't have that minimum, okay? So I want to let you know what the minimums are, but I'm telling you now that these are attainable, that most of us, I would say 99% of us, can use, can afford, and can meet the minimums as we go through here. I'll let you know the pros and cons, all right? I am for the people. All right, so let's go ahead and start. The first one here is Bask Bank. The percent here right now, and these do change like month to month, is 5.1%, 5.10, depending on how you want to look at it, but 5.1% is what they are currently paying. The minimum to earn and open is $0. Okay, you don't need anything to open an account. Obviously, you want to put money in so you can earn. The more you put in, the more you earn. Now, should you put all of your money into one of these savings accounts and get your little 5%, and 5% is a lot, okay, so I don't want to say little like it's nothing, but should you put all of your money into a savings account, get 5% with little risk, I'm talking very, very little risk, and do nothing else and not invest in the stock market? We can do an entire video about that later, but the answer is no, because the stock market is paying a lot more than 5%, and there is a risk that these rates could be lowered in the future. You're still going to get paid, okay? You're absolutely going to get paid, but at some point the Fed's going to do something with rates. Okay, we'll see if they're going to increase them or decrease them. We don't know. In either case, you're still going to get paid. They're not going to go from 5 to 0, and they're definitely not going to go from 5 to 1 in 1 year, right? But right now, 5.1%, we expect these rates to be stable at least through the end of this year. Next here is Popular Bank. 5.15% is what they are paying. Their minimum to open an account is just $100. The minimum to earn that 5.15% is just $100. Not crazy, not outrageous, pretty easy for most of us to achieve. That is $25 a week, and that's it. That's all you need to open the account and start earning that money. Again, you want to have, the goal, if you ask me, is to have a minimum of 6 months of your rent or mortgage in one of these types of accounts. It doesn't have to be this exact list, but you want to have that on hand somewhere in a savings account. I'm really, really focused on a savings account to have that money there. Not your IRA. You want to have some money there, but not your savings. You have to have it in savings because should something happen, emergency, job loss, what have you, I need to be able to pull that money out. I need to be able to do it quickly and still have my retirement, still have my stocks, still working for me, and have that be a second and third line of defense. This right here, if I blow a tire, and I pray I don't, but if something were to happen to my car or something like that, I would need this. This is my first line of defense. I would come here first. Now the reason, and I've talked about this in my book, which you should read the description, and the link to that is in the comment section below. But the reason why you want to, why I say rather, to have that 6 months of rent or mortgage instead of 6 months of expenses is because I do not know, and I'm sure you don't either, what my light bill is going to be from month to month. I got 2 kids. Sometimes they turn off the lights, sometimes they do. I don't know what groceries are from month to month. Sometimes I eat more tacos one month than I do the next. Who knows? Okay, but what I do know is mortgage. I know when the rent was due, and I can easily multiply it times 6 and know, hey, this is the minimum. And also psychologically, it gives me a lot more comfort knowing I'm going to have a roof over my head for a minimum of 6 months if XYZ were to happen. Now again, you want to have more than that because it's not the only expense you have, right? But it's a very easy calculation that we can all make. So that is a lot more tangible for most people. That's the minimum goal you should shoot for to have in cash in a savings account, preferably earning 5% or more in these accounts, in one of these accounts. Next here is Cloud Bank 24/7. They are right now paying 5.24%. The minimum to open right now, just $1. Minimum to earn that percentage is just $1. That's all you need. They're primarily an online bank. Many of these, if they are not offered in your state with physical locations, then most of them are offered online as well. Next here, Tab Bank 5.27%. $0 to open, $0 to start to earn. Obviously, you have to put some money in there to earn, right? You can't get 5% of zero. That doesn't really help you. Now, the next one here is My Direct Bank. They're paying 5.5%. You can see there's a theme of the number 5 here, which is one of the best rates out there in the market anywhere. Now, their minimum to open is $500. That's the most expensive on the list, which isn't the worst in the world. There are some that are much higher. I think $500 is, again, it's the steepest, but it's not crazy. It's not the most ridiculous number out there. It says that $1 is the minimum to earn, which for some that can feel confusing. I had to think about it myself a little bit. They could have worded it a bit better. Technically speaking, you may need $500 to open it. You may need to keep it in there for a while. But let's say you put in $500, you withdraw some money. It's under $500 now. Perhaps you can still earn up until it gets to $1. Not that I would do that. Not that I would take in money and withdraw, so on and so forth. But that seems to be the rules. Now, before you go off and start to open these accounts, here are a few things that you want to know. Always focus on convenience as you are doing your comparisons between all of these accounts. You want to make sure that it fits within your own financial strategy. 5% is very good. Okay, if you are at a bank right now that's paying 5% and you're looking like, hey, should I jump from bank A to bank B, whereas one is paying 5 and one is paying 5.15 or something like that, I don't know if it's going to be worth moving the money, changing the passwords, learning all this new stuff, and going to bank A to bank B for an extra $10 a year. That's up to you, okay? $10 a year, marginally is not that big a deal to me, but it really depends. Now, for a few $1,000s a year, that might be something that is a bit different. Also, see what you need in your financial life, and also definitely check out the customer service. Do they have 24-hour customer service? Is that something that is important to you? What is the mobile app like? I need an app. Don't be hitting me with, you got to go to the desktop website all the time. I don't feel like calling and talking to people. I want to be able to get the stuff done through the app. Also, check for any other hidden fees or fees that you don't like paying or fees that you tend to do or deal with often. So some banks pay wire fees. So if you need an online bank to move money from that online bank to your checking account very quickly, and that is something that you run into often, know about that now. Okay, know that if there's a transfer fee back and forth, that is something that you are aware of. Now, when I looked at transfer fees, I didn't really see a bunch of them because that's something that I tend to look out for. But that is something that you definitely want to double check if you are someone that runs into that. Now, personally, once I put my money in a savings account, it is very, very rare that that money comes up out of there. Okay, I try not to touch my savings. It's in there and it tries to stay there forever and ever. Is usually what I try to do, again, unless there's a major purchase or something that I have to pull the money out for, which I usually do not enjoy doing. But that is one of the best ways to have your money continue to grow, have it do so at a very low risk. And remember, all of this is FDIC insured, meaning if the bank were to collapse, which is a very rare event, you are insured up to $250,000. There is also a way for you to increase that level of insurance. If you want to know how, we've actually done an entire video on how to do that. I'll make sure that is somewhere on a card, somewhere on the screen. I don't know how these things pop up, they just do. But one other thing that you do want to know. Now that you have your basics, right, you know where some of the best bank accounts are, we know how important it is to save, even though we mostly talk about the stock market, you do also want to know where to invest. I just put out a list of some of the best stocks that are not on your radar. You want to put them on there. If you want to know what some of those stocks are and how good they're doing right now, you want to check out this list right here.